Have you ever noticed a coincidence that felt too perfect? This is why it's not just in your head. A quiet language that weaves itself into the fabric of our experiences is the steady flow of information from the universe into our lives. It's a conversation between the spirits, where signs and symbols are the words and intuition is the language. But not all of us are paying attention to this discussion. As we go about our days, our eyes and ears are often fixed on the real world, and we miss the words from beyond that are meant to lead us. Starting point: the universe doesn't yell. It doesn't ask for attention with the loud noise of a storm or the flash of lightning. Its messages sound more like the soft rustling of leaves or the flickering of a light. The first thing we need to do to hear these words is to realize that we are a small part of a bigger world. It is a fabric that answers to our touch and what we want to do. Now take a moment to think about the coincidences that have happened in your life, like the call from a friend you were just thinking about, the chance meeting that led to a new opportunity, or even the numbers that keep showing up everywhere you look. The universe is trying to talk to you through these events. They are not chance. But how can we tell the difference between a sign and a chance event? It starts with making yourself more aware. You need to improve your senses, clear your mind of all the thoughts that keep coming to you, and make it ready to receive. You'll notice that the universe is a master storyteller when you start to really pay attention. It tells stories that speak directly to our core being. To figure out what these stories are about, you need to know how to read emotional language. Our emotions are like a map inside our heads. They point us toward what the universe wants us to pay attention to. Take note when you feel a sudden rush of happiness, peace, or inspiration. These are signs that show you the way you should go. On the other hand, don't ignore feelings of discomfort, worry, or unease that come up over and over again. These are signs that something in your life is not going according to the plan the universe has for you. It's important to understand the role of our inner voice as our journey goes on. In quiet times, this is the voice that talks to us and knows what we really want and what we're afraid of. It's the voice of our better selves, and it talks to the universe all the time. The lessons are easier to understand when we turn off the outside noise and listen to this inner conversation. We start to see the signs that were there the whole time, just waiting for us to notice them. Still, there is a problem we need to solve: our mind's doubts. The logical mind can help us, but it can also get in the way. It looks for proof and doesn't accept the vague, which makes us miss the signs that don't fit its standards. We need to be both skeptical and open-minded in order to get past this. Sometimes there are answers that don't come with rational reasons. We have to be open to that idea. When it comes to deep facts, sometimes what you feel is more important than what you think. Now let's look at the outside world, which is the stage where the universe's signs play out. Nature, with its great knowledge, shows us what's going on inside. Have you ever noticed that certain animals show up in your life at certain times? A butterfly might fly by you over and over, or an owl might seem to follow you at night. In many spiritual faiths, animals are seen as messages, and each animal has its own meaning. We can figure out what the lessons are for us by watching the natural world and the animals that live in it. But the universe doesn't just talk to us through nature. It also talks to us through other people. No matter how long someone is in our lives, they have something to teach us. Meetings, especially hard ones, often show us parts of ourselves that we need to fix or deal with. The universe pushes us to think about these things so that we can grow as people. Now picture yourself as a ship on the ocean, and the universe is the wind that blows through your sails. You need to set your sails properly to catch the wind. To receive the universe's messages, you must also make sure that your deeds match your goals. When you live your life with honest goals, you make room for the universe's direction to flow through you. You think more about the choices you make, the things you do have more value, and the signs become clearer. Keep in mind that the universe's advice isn't just for a select few. Anyone who wants to listen can get it. It doesn't pick and choose who gets to hear its advice. It just wants us to be present and pay attention. When we keep an open mind and a curious heart, we start to notice the signs that are all around us. Take a moment to stop and look around you every day. What patterns do you see? Do you keep coming back to the same ideas in your thoughts, studies, or conversations? These patterns are what the universe uses to get your attention. I want you to think about how your body can also carry these ideas. Have you ever had a gut feeling, a quick hunch, or a physical response that you couldn't explain? Our bodies are like highly tuned instruments that can pick up on the faint waves of the universe's messages. If something or someone makes you feel strongly, don't quickly dismiss it as nerves or a chance. Pay attention to what your body is telling you instead. It could be picking up on something that your mind has missed. Now let's talk about creativity. Have you ever had a sudden idea that seemed to come from nowhere? These clear and creative moments are not just random bursts of energy. They are the universe sending you ideas. Being artistic is where the divine plays. And when we do creative things, we make room for more inspired thoughts to come in. These times are your link to something bigger, whether you're an artist, writer, singer, or just someone who likes to think creatively. The universe also sends signs in the form of problems and tests. It's easy to see problems as bad, but what if they are really signs that point us in the direction of where we need to grow? If you are going through a hard time, instead of asking, "Why me?" ask, "What is this teaching me?" This way, every problem you face becomes a chance to get closer to what the universe wants for you. When we connect with other people, we sometimes see reflections of ourselves. These are the kinds of people who show us the good and bad traits we need to see. The universe is telling us what to be happy about and what to change through this echoing. We get a better sense of our journey and meaning when we see ourselves in other people. Let's think about the power of dreams as we continue to look into the universe's hidden messages. When you dream, the universe paints the most detailed scenes for you. They get through the filters of our waking minds and give us direct access to our inner selves. Do not ignore the feeling or picture you woke up with from a dream if you have had one. Instead, think about what it means and what it might be trying to say. Let's move on. We also need to understand that the messages we get are affected by what we think and believe. What we put out into the universe comes back to us. If we stay down, we might miss the signs of hope and direction that are all around us. Instead, when we keep a positive attitude, we match the energy of the universe, which makes its signals clearer and easier to understand. Let us also recognize the importance of being still to hear what the universe is saying. In a world that values being busy all the time, it may seem odd to take some time to be still, but it's when things are quiet that we can really hear the universe moving. When we calm our minds, we can feel the gentle forces that lead us. Also, it's important to know that the universe's lessons aren't always meant to be understood right away. There are times when a sign or symbol doesn't make sense right away. You need to be patient. Always have faith that the puzzle pieces will fit together perfectly. Once they do, you'll see the whole picture and get the message. As we near the end of this first part, let's remember how deeply everything is linked to everything else. We are not separate from others. We are a part of something bigger. And it's through this web of connections that the universe talks to us. Every word and sign is a part of the complex web of life. The universe is always talking, but we have to be ready to hear what it has to say. You don't have to look for signs everywhere, but you should be willing to believe that they are there and will guide you if you pay attention. Being aware, being patient, and having faith are all important steps on the way to understanding the signs in the universe. The story is still going on, and as we move on to the next part of our exploration, we will learn more about how we can be a part of this cosmic talk and make coincidence work with the rhythms of the universe. We will learn more about the dance of synchronicity in the next chapter. Synchronicity is when the universe's moves line up with our own. Synchronicity is the universe's way of telling us that we are on the right road and that we are exactly where we are supposed to be at that very time. Have you ever been in a situation where everything seemed to be planned by hands you couldn't see? Maybe the call or message came at just the right time, or maybe you read a book or heard a song that spoke directly to your situation. A conversation is going on in our lives all the time that we don't even notice. The universe is always talking to us. It does this through our experiences, random events, and the natural world. But are we really listening to this cosmic talk, or are we ignoring the deep knowledge it has to offer without meaning to? Let's talk about the idea of synchronicity, which you may also know as important events. When you think of an old friend, they call you out of the blue. When you dream about something, it happens in real life. These times don't happen by chance. They're the universe's message. It doesn't use words to talk. Instead, it talks about feelings and events. Before we can learn this language, we need to make our minds open to it. Being aware is the key to opening up this conversation. How often do you go through the day without noticing the small signs that are all around you? You have to be in the present moment to hear what the universe has to say. This means giving close attention to the world around you, following your gut, and feeling the emotions that different things make you feel. Let's look at what perception does now. It's that gut feeling, that voice inside you that tells you things you might not be able to understand clearly. Have you ever felt a pull to go somewhere, and when you got there, you knew why you were there? If you want to know what the universe wants you to do, use your instincts. It gets around the critical mind and gives you pure understanding instead. But in our world of reason, we often write off these gut hits as nothing more than feelings. To get in touch with the universe, we need to learn to trust this machine inside us. Meditation can help you develop your intuition. Being able to quiet your mind and let your instincts come to the surface is what meditation does. It's like setting the radio to the right channel to pick up a sound. When you start meditating regularly, you'll have more intuitive moments. This means that your link to the talk going on in the universe is getting stronger. The image of our interactions is another way the universe talks to us. Have you ever thought about why you keep meeting the same kinds of people? Or why certain patterns keep happening in the way you talk to people? The parts of ourselves we don't see often show up in our relationships. They teach us lessons in the form of people and give us the chance to grow and change. We can figure out what the universe is trying to teach us by watching how our relationships change over time. But the universe doesn't just talk in strange ways. It also talks in everyday things like the quiet lull of your daily routine, the rhythm of the changing seasons, and the natural growth cycles. Watching the sunrise is itself a sign of rebirth and a chance to start over. There is no big show when the sun rises. It just does so in silence. Do we stop to notice these miracles that happen every day, or do we just take them for granted? We also need to think about the part that problems and issues play in our lives. We often see them as bothersome or as proof that the universe is against us. Though what if they are really signs that point us in a new way or tools that will help us become stronger? When we face a problem, it gives us a chance to pay more attention to the universe's direction. It might be telling us to change our minds, let go of something that doesn't help us anymore, or step into our power. The universe also talks to us through the things we love and are passionate about. What makes you happy? How do you lose track of time? These are not random. They are cosmic signs that point you in the direction of your joy and mission. By doing things that make you happy, you are in sync with the universe, and it is when you are in sync that the conversation becomes clear. Think about how deep your own life is right now. You are on this spinning rock that is moving through the universe. In the big picture of forever, your life is a miracle, a spark that doesn't last long. Have you ever thought about how likely it is that you are here? The many things that had to come together for you to exist? This universe has you in it. You are not different from it. Your being here is not a coincidence. It was purposefully made. As this first part comes to a close, I want you to think about how the universe might be trying to talk to you. Have you ignored any feelings or signs that your body has been telling you something? The talk is going on all around you. All you have to do is change how you're thinking to join in the musical rhythm of how everything is linked. All things are linked. This is not just a philosophical idea. It is a basic fact of the universe. Because of these links, our actions, thoughts, and feelings are all a part of a bigger picture. It is through this fabric that the universe talks to us, showing us how our lives are linked and where we fit in the universe. Let's look at how the idea of connection works in real life. There may have been times when you had a thought and then heard someone else say it, or when you felt a quick change in your emotions that seemed to match up with something happening in the world or how someone far away was feeling. Based on these experiences, it seems that our individual consciousness is connected to a group consciousness. This connection is a way for the universe to send us messages and signs. When we realize how everything is linked, we can live with more duty and kindness. When you understand that what you do affects other people and the surroundings, you start to act with more purpose. You become more aware of how you affect the earth and more careful about how you treat other people. The universe is telling us to change how we act to bring about balance and unity. Being aware of how we are all linked also means realizing that our problems are shared by many people. When you need help the most, the universe may seem to be silent, leaving you to deal with your problems on your own. But it's often when we're going through the hardest times that the universe is trying to get our attention the most. It sends us support through the kindness of strangers or friends, through chances that come up out of the blue, or through the strength you find within yourself. Things like these are messages from the universe telling us that we are not alone on our journey, even when it feels like it. It's time to talk about the signs we see in nature. We can learn a lot from nature, and it often shows us things about our own lives that are true. The seasons teach us about the cycles of rest and growth. They show us that there are times to do things and times to think about them. The way a sapling pushes through the dirt to get to the sun is a metaphor for how we all want to grow and find the light, even when things get in the way. The stars in the sky also want to tell us something. They make us think about how big life is and where we fit in it. You can see the past of the universe when you look at the stars, because their light has moved through time to reach your eyes. From this point of view, our everyday problems may seem small, but it can also make us feel amazed and aware that our lives are a part of a bigger story. This is important to remember. Our bodies are very smart and are always talking to us. The universe talks to us through the feelings we have, the amount of energy we have, and even the sicknesses we may get. These physical signs are telling us to rest, eat well, take care of our bodies, and pay attention to our needs, which we often forget about. The flow of wealth in our lives is another way that the universe talks to us. There are times when there isn't enough and times when there is plenty. These changes are not random. They show whether something is aligned or not. The universe often gives us what we need in ways we don't expect when we are in tune with who we really are and our purpose. It's not just money that flows with abundance, love, imagination, and chances as well. Think about times when things just fell together and put you in the right place at the right time. These events are not just random. They are the universe lining up the pieces of your life to make a result that is best for you. You have to be open and aware to notice these synchronicities. The universe is waiting for you to see these connections and accept the road that is being shown to you. We've now reached the middle of our journey. I want you to think about how your own life is linked. What effects might your actions and thoughts have on your life and the world around you? Are there signs that you've been missing from nature, your body, or the flow of wealth? How trust and surrender work together. As we try to figure out how the universe is talking to us, we hit an important turning point. How trust and surrender work together. This dance is not an inactive thing to do. It is an involved part of life's flow. Trust is having faith that the universe will work out as planned, and acceptance is giving up the need to control what happens. They work together to make a strong formula that can change our lives. Trust comes from remembering good things that happened in the past and knowing that the universe is always with us. It's about remembering the times when things just clicked, when someone helped you out of the blue, or when a tough situation made you grow as a person. Each of these events is a thread in the fabric of our lives, which was made by the universe. When we trust, we know that every thread is there for a reason, even if we can't see it right away. On the other hand, surrender isn't always clear. Giving up or letting fate take its course is not the point. Let go of the false sense of control and realize that even though we can steer our ship with purpose, we can't control the wind or the waves. Giving up is the calm act of lining up our efforts with the flow of the universe and believing that they will lead us to the places that are meant for us. People don't just think about these ideas in an intellectual way. They can be used in real life. The dance of trust and surrender asks us to pay close attention to the universe's direction when we're at a crossroads or have to make a big choice. It could happen in the form of a quick realization, a chat with a friend, or a sign that speaks to us. If we accept this advice and let the road develop, we often find that it helps us make better choices and makes our journey less stressful. It's also possible for the universe to talk to us through problems and closed doors. You can get upset or start to doubt the universe's help when you run into problems in your quests. Still, these times are full of opportunities for growth and change. Trust tells us that the block is there for a reason, and giving up lets us take a step back and look for new chances we might have missed otherwise. Think about how a river flows. It goes in circles, runs into problems, and figures out how to get around them, but it always gets to where it's going. It's important to learn to accept the natural flow of our lives, like the river, and be open to the changes and turns that come along the way. Practicing thanks is another way to connect with the universe on a deeper level. When we say thank you, we recognize the gifts we've been given and tune into the wealth around us. When we are grateful, we stop thinking about what we don't have and start thinking about what we do have. Being grateful makes us more in tune with the good energy that flows through life, which is when we often get the clearest signs from the universe. Now let's talk about how dreams and the inner mind connect us to the universe. Dreams can teach us a lot because they often show us what we really want and what we're afraid of. In addition, they can be a blank page for the universe to write on. We might find advice that we can't find when we're awake if we pay attention to and think about our dreams. Being able to listen to the universe also means being aware of the words we use and the ideas we have. Our thoughts and words have a lot of power over how our world turns out. They can either match us with the rhythm of the universe or add noise that messes up the message. We make room for the universe's knowledge to flow through us when we use positive, encouraging words and thoughts.